Hey there, I'm John.
And I'm Josh.
Talking about NCAA college football. We're up to week 13.
Woo!
This thing's
Crazy.
screaming towards an end at this point. So as we're coming towards the end, there's a lot of implications. You know, who's going to the playoffs? Those kind of questions are, what everybody's talking about at this point. But let's start off with some of the interesting games for the week.
Real quick, before we start off, this is a lot of teams' homecoming week. So number of top 25 teams are playing FCS opponents, other opponents that they can just pretty much cream
like
with
Alabama, Western Carolina,
or
things like that.
Auburn versus my team, my
Sanford.
school, Sanford.
Yes.
Like they're scheduling, it's meant to be an easy win so they can celebrate their homecomings, kind of have a break before next week when they'll probably play some tougher opponents.
Because next week
Something
is
to
a lot of the rivalry games will be played next week. Yeah.
So there really isn't that many two fascinating games to look at.
That's true. Until we talk about this first one. Very interesting one in the Big Ten.
Yeah, game day.
You have number 8, Penn State. They're going to be at number 2, Ohio State. This is a big game.
Yeah.
It is. Gosh, it's just so hard for me to see Penn State having any kind of a chance in this.
Oh, man, yeah. This is the kind of the end stretch of Ohio State's relatively tough schedule. Penn State and Michigan next week. Yeah. Except the Michigan game is at Michigan. That changes things for them. But can Penn State really beat Ohio State? Does anyone think that there's a chance? I would love to know the spread of this game. Yeah. Because, in my mind, Ohio State wins by 14 easy.
Yeah. Even in any wild stretch of the imagination, it is college football, but good grief. Ohio State would just really have to disintegrate.
They really would.
To lose
and
this game.
This is an Ohio State team right now,
They're on fire. Yeah.
Clearly, defensively, probably the best team in the top 4. Yeah. Offensively, they're amazing too. Yeah. So it's kind of hard to figure out what can you really do to stop them. I guess we'll figure it out.
It's a good time to be a Buckeye
fan. Good luck,
fan.
Penn State. Yeah, good luck.
Then you have number 6 Oregon. They're going to be going to play a number 5-5 Arizona State. I heard some guys talking about this. Some of the talking heads.
No,
and they were thinking Arizona State had a chance to upset Oregon.
Not a chance. Oregon, honestly, right now, Oregon has playoffs in their mind. They know if they go undefeated from this point out, win their conference, you're above Alabama.
Yeah.
If Oregon goes undefeated and wins their conference over a really high-ranked Utah, either one of them, whoever wins that, since Alabama won't make it to their conference championship, you go above Alabama.
Yeah.
That's the quality of winning a top 10 team.
When you stop and think about it, that's just ridiculous.
Yeah, it can. Yeah,
Oregon above Alabama.
It is ridiculous, but with Alabama's schedule this year, there's no debating. Since Alabama already lost the game, they really needed a better schedule up to this point.
They did.
Have been
if they had beat LSU, it would be a different story.
Yeah, absolutely.
We'd be talking about even though they don't have a good schedule, they can still win when it counts. But not beating LSU means their only good win, as we mentioned before, was Texas A&M.
And Auburn losing to Georgia ruined Alabama's chances, in my mind, of being able to make it to the playoffs.
Yeah.
In my mind, they're gone. It's over for Alabama fans. I'm sorry.
It would take some crazy gymnastics
it really
to pull
would.
off.
So anyways, Oregon wins this big.
Then you have TCU going to Oklahoma. Oklahoma, good grief. I mean, I can't figure that team out. They pulled off a win last week. Could something like that happen again this week with TCU?
This is 2 weeks in a row, Oklahoma. So first Iowa State. Barely scraping by there. Now it was Baylor. Came back from behind to beat them. TCU, not a bad football team. They've, I think, pulled off one upset earlier this year. Patterson knows how to coach. He also knows how to, if you watch him on the sideline, it cracks me up. He messes with his clothes all the time. It's really funny. But that's not the point. I'm sorry. TCU.
I digress.
No,
I can't see it. I can't see it either. And I think Oklahoma really needs to come out and make a statement.
They really
They don't need to fool around and have a close game.
The Big 12 in general right now, if they want any chance of anything, really needs to make statement games.
Yeah.
I just don't think they have a shot.
They're in a hard place, especially with Oklahoma and Baylor being their top 2 teams right now.
In my mind, the Big 12 is out of the playoff picture.
Yeah. I think so too. And speaking of Big 12, 6-4 Texas, pretty disappointing season.
Is Texas back?
Yeah, please don't talk about that next year. They're at number 14 Baylor. Baylor off that upsetting loss last week to Oklahoma.
Yeah, I think Baylor rebounds.
I would think that they would against Texas.
I do think Baylor rebounds. Texas, after a fairly decent start, has just absolutely collapsed. I'm pretty sure TCU might have beat them. That might have been their upset.
Yeah.
So Baylor wins this. Hopefully they learn how to get a good lead in the first half and not lose it.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens.
All right, ACC. Let's talk about Pitt. They're going to be going to play Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech doing a whole lot better at the end of this season than they were at the beginning.
Yeah, so I know they had 2 losses early on in the season, and so everyone kind of immediately wrote them off like there's no chance they win. They could win their side of the ACC right now.
Yeah, this is an important game for that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
they need to win out. I think
this one and then Virginia.
Yeah, so if they beat both of these, I think they make it as the ACC champion.
For the Coastal.
Yeah,
division.
for Coastal division. Yes.
Yeah.
We all know who's going to be.
They'll have to play. They would have to play Clemson.
Yeah, man, I don't even. Right, I'm telling you, Clemson's not on our list. I don't know who they're playing this week.
It's one of those off games.
Clemson right now. I was just reading an article about it. This team has found their national championship mojo. Like, they look like a team who can compete with Ohio State and LSU. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see what happens with that.
All right.
Then you have number 13, Michigan. They're going to go play 7-3 Indiana, and Michigan's got to be careful with this one.
They do, especially looking ahead towards Ohio State. I think that's dangerous for them.
Yeah.
And Indiana,
they're not pushovers.
They're not. They almost beat Penn State.
They did.
Yeah.
So this is a dangerous one for Michigan and in front of a Hoosier crowd, so they got to be really careful with this.
Yes,
so,
I do think Michigan wins.
Let's go and talk a little bit about Group of 5.
All right, we won't talk long about Group of 5. It's just pretty interesting coming down to the stretch here, fighting for that New Year's 6 spot. So to start it off with, we have my Boise State Broncos going at Utah State. And this is actually the game that determines who goes to the Mountain West Conference game.
That's right.
If Boise loses this, they're out of the picture.
Yeah.
It's over for them. They're not even going to make it to the championship game for the conference.
Yep.
I don't even know who's starting at quarterback for Boise.
Yeah.
Because right now, Cord is slightly injured. Hank has been out for 3 weeks. So we have Jalen Henderson, the redshirts, the 5th-year senior. He could be starting. He looked good.
Yeah.
But it was New Mexico, so I don't really put any value into that game.
So this one's a much bigger test.
Yeah,
Utah State 6-4, 5-1 in the Mountain West.
Much needed win for Boise. Yeah. We'll see what happens.
Yep. And then we have Louisiana Tech's going to be at UAB.
This one, it's more just fun to say because
this is big for their conference.
It really is.
For the Sun Belt
I don't
Conference.
think either of these teams, like Louisiana Tech, might have before they lost. I think 2 weeks ago. But 8-2 and 7-3 with their schedule.
Yeah,
it's just they don't really have a chance. I do think Louisiana Tech does beat UAB though.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then you have SMU, also only a 1 loss. They're number 25. They're going to be playing a 7-2 Navy.
Yeah, this is a big game for SMU.
Yes.
And Navy. Navy just lost to Notre Dame last week in a blowout game. SMU 9-1, kind of getting they think at least they're getting a little disrespected because they only have 1 loss, but so does Memphis and Cincinnati.
That's right.
And Boise. So who knows how all that works?
Yeah.
Anyways, I do think SMU wins at Navy.
Then you got Memphis, who's number 18 coming into this, and they're going to be playing USF.
Yeah. So Memphis, probably the best looking team right now in the AAC. They are the top ranked team in the rankings as far as Group of 5 teams go. USF almost beat Cincinnati just last week. I don't think they're a pushover, but I think Memphis is going to pay attention to the fact that Cincinnati almost slipped up and probably come out and with they're ready. They're not going to let USF surprise them. So Memphis wins.
So the question is, are you ready for these upset picks?
Oh, let's hope so. Last week wasn't the best for me. I do think this first one's possible. So 7-3 Temple at 9-1, number 19 Cincinnati.
Yeah, this one is this one is not impossible.
This is 2 weeks. Imagine 2 weeks in a row that Cincinnati has almost lost to teams they should not even be in the ballgame with. I think it was ECU and then USF. So they're moving back in the rankings. As a matter of fact, they won last week against USF and still moved back in the 19. rankings. Yes. Yeah. I do think Temple can go to Cincinnati and beat them. Cincinnati clearly has a lot of issues and can't seem to figure them out. So Temple wins.
Yeah. Or if they're going to figure them out, this is the time to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Then we have 7-3 Texas A&M. Talking about them already, but they're going to be going to play number 4 Georgia. And you think?
I do think Texas A&M is going to beat Georgia. Let me tell you, I have never been so unimpressed with a team who's beating such great teams. Because Georgia is beating some really, really good teams. Yeah. They beat Florida. They beat Auburn.
They just beat Auburn.
They're doing pretty well on their side of the SEC. offensively, Georgia is just one of the most painful teams to watch in my mind. Jake Fromm does nothing. This man was supposed to be great this year. When he throws the ball, I even just watching him, there's like no pizzazz, there's no like flair or anything. It's embarrassing to watch the Georgia
dog
offense.
fans.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
You may or may not agree with this.
Defensively, I think Georgia is stellar.
Yeah.
They held Missouri to 0. They did a good job against Auburn until the fourth quarter. Like, they do what they need to do to help out their miserable offense.
Yes.
That being said, I do think all Texas A&M has to do is score 21 points, and you can beat Georgia, because even Texas A&M's defense can hold Georgia to less than 21 points. So that's my take of it. I do think Texas A&M wins, and it's at Georgia.
All right, that's our look at Week 13. Join us when we see what happens.